Hello, America. How you doing today? It's me, Schuster. As you can see, I'm running for U.S. Senate. Those are some of my signs. Hope you vote for me. People are afraid to say the N word. Okay. Now let me explain some things to you about that word. Okay. They had changed the dictionaries to fit their agenda. But when I was a child, what the word meant was anybody that lived in a neighborhood or a house that had junk and trash around it, and it was run down. Kind of like a lot of these inner cities are, like you've seen up in New Jersey when they, God bless him, he's dead now, but his district was rat infested and all that stuff. And then some people went there and helped clean it up. Okay. People that live in areas like that, that is what the term nigger meant when I was a child in the dictionary. But then they changed it to fit their agenda, the left did, or the elite, so that they could use it to incite race wars and stuff. No, that's the same thing Germany did before they had World War II. Okay, and ISIS was doing the same thing. So Black Lives Matter is pretty much the American ISIS. I think Black Lives Matter is just a revised Black Panther movement, which is a racist terrorist group, just like the Weather Underground was back in the 60s for the whites that were going against the government and blowing things up and stuff like that. And a lot of those people ended up being in Obama's administration. I just don't get how they were able to do that when they should have been locked up still. So that Black Power emblem that everybody's doing, including white people, so-called white people, to me, we're all colored. This is a white shirt, okay? I don't know anybody of this color. I don't really know anyone that's Black anymore. We're all mixed races. There's a lot of these so-called Black people have more white than African in them. They've been finding that out on ancestry.com. Even the commercial, they got that colored woman there with the African dress on and stuff and the hat, and she said, "Oh, I come from here. 23% of me is from here." Where's the rest of you from? You can go on YouTube and see these people going to ancestry.com and they get the results back and they're on the thing and they go and read it and they're shocked to find out they're more European than African, or they're South American instead of African. And like I said in my last video, I'm German, French, Finnish, Irish, and Cherokee. So I guess, with a lot of these people, I guess I could take my minority side, which is Cherokee, to get benefits because, society is not fair for me. It's overly compensated for the colored race. You got the NAACP, that's a racist organization. I say that because when I lived in Jacksonville, Florida, they tried to start an NAAWP, and it was taken to the courts. And the court said that would end up being a racist organization. So I say to you, if that's going to be a racist organization, then what's the NAACP? I know that they only stand up for Africans, or if you have African in your system, it doesn't matter the amount as long as you're part of that. So it's a racist group, just like Black Lives Matter is a racist group. It's controlled by the left, just like Antifa. Okay, I can't believe Nike and them giving millions of dollars to Black Lives Matters. Why? Why are you funding a terrorist organization against our country? Because them companies are run by the elite. New World Order, Deep State, Illuminati, Bilderbergs, whatever you want to call it. Filthy rich, okay? And with slavery, Romans had slaves. The Egyptians had slaves. Everybody's had slaves. Before there were black slaves here in the United States, there were white slaves and Indian slaves. So the so-called black race doesn't have the claim on slavery. Heck, we're still all slaves today. We're all slaves to the dollar. The elite has made us all slaves to the almighty dollar bill, even though it's worth nothing. So that's the way I feel about that aspect. Now let's go back to the black people, if you want to call them that. I call them brown or colored. We're all shade of brown. Nobody's white. Nobody's black. We're all mixed races. We're all mongrels, which makes us all Americans. They're just doing the less deep state Illuminati bidding. George Soros, Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey, they're all part of it. The blacks, they have the BET, Black Entertainment Television channel. If we were to do a WET, there would be a big stink about it. Okay. And then they got owned with Oprah, which has a lot of black and a lot of all black shows, because Spike Lee is racist and she lets him do some of his shows. He's the biggest racist I know out there. So, you got all that crap going on there with the TV. They got their own awards coming up too here now. And then they have black colleges. You just heard the president the other week say that he increased the funding to the black colleges. I feel if they're not racially diversified, then they should not get federal funding. And, back in the 60s, that's kind of what started a lot of this. You used to have black colleges, you had white colleges, you had all man colleges, you had all woman colleges. And then they infiltrated all the white stuff, but nobody infiltrated the black. They were still allowed to be racist, but the whites aren't. And that's fits their agenda also, the left, because they want to keep race diversity going on here, whereas we fight each other and stuff. That's what they're trying to start now. Now, sports. A lot of the sports are all black athletes now. Blacks are more physically stronger race than the whites, which was manipulated that way by ETs. Now, I'm not going to say that we're smarter than them, because we're really not. And every race has its good, bad, smart, dumb people in it. And then another thing I would like to see change is job applications, and any kind of application really, because it gives credence to racism. No more age. If you can, if it's a requirement that the people be a certain age, you can put, are you over the age of 21 or are you over the age of 18? Okay, you don't ask the age, you don't ask the race, and you don't ask the sex. That's racism, sexism, and race against age. Okay, so that needs to go away. Everybody needs to be done on merit. Okay, you look at the application, you decide you want to have the person come in for an interview. When they come in for the interview, then you can decide. Because I know a lot of women out there that are husky women that can outdo a skinny man or even some regular man. That just because they're a woman or a man doesn't mean they can't do the job. All right, and then same with like I said about education and who's smart and who's not. It's who has strived to do better in their lives. That's what this is all about. Okay. Now, the inner cities, a lot of it is the darker race, and the lighter race is more out in the suburbs and further out in the country areas. So you don't really hear much about them because they don't group up like they do in the cities and cause havoc and stuff just because they're dissatisfied because they didn't use the privileges they have been granted, like free college, free housing, food stamps and stuff to help them. And, they abuse the systems. They don't get married. They have 4 or 5 different baby mamas, which needs to be corrected so that with DNA, like I said, whereas if they have a certain amount of kids, 2 kids, the government will pay to fix them because it's a lot cheaper than paying to raise the kids, especially they got 5 baby mamas, and it's not just them. It's every race does that. I'm not picking on any particular race. Like I said, I'm not a racist. I'm just putting the information out there the way it is. I think we should do away with funding the black colleges. Shouldn't be funded unless they diversify and allow whites and Asian and Hispanic. Okay. Sports, like I said, NASCAR is the only one that still has more Caucasians in it. But then again, it has some Asians, it has blacks. It's just that Bubba's the only so-called black driver, even though I consider him more white than black because he is. The black race has so many more advantages. And if they want equality, we need to take it away and make it fair for everyone. You shouldn't, like when I was in the military, they got extra points for when they took the test. Why? I don't know. They're just as smart as we are. Because I was classified as a white person, not an Indian or, anything like that. I was discredited and didn't get as many points when I fill out my applications to take my test for rank. If you were female or minority, you get a few extra points. And I kept missing making rank by like a quarter point and stuff like that to make E6. I was in E5 for 7.5 years. Same amount of time I had my broken back and 10 herniated discs in the military, because I misdiagnosed me. I did 7.5 years active duty that way with a broken back and stuff. So, it's just sad the way society has gone. And it's the elite, like I said, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Oprah Winfrey, Nancy Pelosi, I consider as the female Hitler, because they're playing the Nazi card. They tear down your infrastructure and they get rid of all your history. They get rid of your religion, and then they make their own and throw it out there and pump it into you. A lot of people out there, or where you guys are out in society, they're brainwashed. A lot of people on the left are brainwashed. You got Media Matters with George Soros pumping into the media things, all the leftist news stations and stuff. Feed this, feed this, feed this, and they all do the same thing over and over and over again, pumping it in. That's brainwashing. Sooner or later, people are going to, even though it's fake news, sooner or later, people are going to say, well, they're all saying it, so it's got to be true. But if they'd go and do some research, they would find out that they're lying to them. And then when it does come out that they lie, they don't apologize for it. Look at what they've put our president through. It's ridiculous. So, racism is pretty much the only racists I see people out there I see are the ones that are really whining about it. You want to call me whining now, you can. I don't care, but I'm not a racist. Never have been. I grew up with black kids. I got along great with them. I wanted to date one, but she didn't want to date me when I was back there and when I grew up. So, I'm just carrying on now. Like I said, we need to get all that stuff off the applications and hire people on merit. I don't care what color you are. If you can do the job, do it. You shouldn't be discriminated against for that. So go out there, do the best you can. Anything you want to do in your life, you can do. All you got to do is strive for it. Okay. get an education. Now, I notice a lot of these people that were on welfare did take advantage of, the college and stuff, and they all run the social services now in the inner city. That's all run by darker people, and you know, they've learned how to manipulate the system. They don't get married, like I said earlier. They have multiple kids. He can go live there and stuff. We provide the housing. Well, the taxpayer provides the housing. They provide food stamps for the kids and everything, and the mother. But then you got different guys living with her, and she's having other kids by the different guys and stuff. That's why I said that we need to get it under control so they can't go and live their whole life on welfare like they end up doing, because they'll space the kids out just so that by the time they reach 60 to get retired Social Security, that's when the youngest one is leaving the house. And like I said, all races do it. I'm not picking on any one race. The system needs to be changed, and that's it's terrible. So that's my point of view about the N word and racism, and just got to get along. Got to stop letting the left push it. They want a race war. That's what they want. That's what Germany did. Okay, like I said, they got rid of the religion. They got rid of the history. They revamped it, and then they started getting rid of the Jews. And what they want is they want a race war, whereas the Caucasian race will start fighting the black race, and then they can come in behind the white race and wipe the blacks out, probably, because there's only 19% black and 67% white right now. So, it's a losing cause for that race if they let that happen. But yet they're going with the left's agenda. The left's baiting them and getting them out there. They're like slaves to the left, but yet they bitch about slavery. And like I said, everybody's a slave to the dollar right now. So get out there and voice your opinion. Do something. Everybody's afraid. Oh, they're going to call me a racist. Call me a racist. I don't give a damn. I know I'm not. Okay? Get out there. God bless America. Let's get along. We got to stop this crap. Okay? Take care.